Hello and welcome to my top 10 Excel tips. My name's David Ludlow and I'll take you through my current top 10 list. So to start with, I'm going to use this spreadsheet on the left and I want to select all of my data, and you'll see that I've got a spare row in here and a couple of rows at the top. So if I click into my data and hold Control down and press A, that selects all the data in that part up to that blank line. But if you hold Control down and press A again, that selects the whole worksheet. So that's my first tip. Now my second one. If we've selected a set of data, so I'll do this with Control A, and I want to have a look around to make sure I've got the right selection, hold your Control key down and press the full stop, and you'll see that the white active cell goes around the four corners of your selection every time you press the full stop. So if you just keep Control held down, press the full stop, and around it goes for you to check your selection. My number 3 tip is to do with worksheets. So we'll work on this workbook over on the right here. If I want to move this car sales Q1 over to the end, you hover over the name of the worksheet, hold your left mouse button down and then drag across, and see that little black triangle pointing down. You pull that across until it points between the two that you'd like to drop it into. So I'm going to put it just there. So now let go of the mouse and there it is. But if I wanted to make a copy of that, what you do is hold your left mouse button down again, but this time hold your Control key down and you see a little plus appear in the middle, and then drag across and keep your Control key held down but let go of your mouse, and that makes a copy. Now the good thing with this is that we can move these worksheets across to another spreadsheet. So I've got another spreadsheet open here. So let's assume we want to move this quarter 2 across to this spreadsheet. You do exactly the same, hold your left mouse button down and come across to the other spreadsheet and drop it in there, and that's actually moved it. It's cut it out of this spreadsheet on the right and put it into the spreadsheet on the left. But if I wanted to make a copy, so let's take car sales Q3, I want to leave that on this spreadsheet, but I'd like a copy over on the other spreadsheet. Hold your left mouse button down, hold your Control key and drag it across to the other spreadsheet, keep your Control key held down, let go of the mouse, and there it is. You've got car sales Q3 on this spreadsheet and car sales Q3 on this spreadsheet. My number 4 tip is a really simple one. It's to add a new sheet in with the keyboard. Now normally you would click this plus here and that will put a new worksheet in, but if you want to do that with a shortcut, all you do is hold your Shift key down and press the F11 key, and there's your new sheet. Number 5 tip is about copying and moving data. So here we've got a set of data and I want to move it across so it's over here. So let's select the data, so click into the data, Control A, and now all you do is hover over the edge of this line here, so you get a move handle, hold your left mouse button down and move it across and let go of your mouse, and you've just cut and paste that using your mouse. But what if I want to copy column A over to just here? Let's highlight the data and then hold your left mouse button down but hold your Control at the same time and see that little plus appear, and now when we move this across it makes a copy. So we've still got column A over here, but we've got a copy of the data over here. But the problem comes is when you want to move these columns in between the other columns. So let's do the same. If I go to move this, you'll see that it only goes over the existing columns, so it would replace the data. What you need to do is hold your shift key down, and with your shift key down move this across, and you'll see this dark green line appear. And if I want to move it between C and D, now let go of the mouse, and there it's moved A across and moved everything over. So it's all in the same position, apart from A is now gone between C and D. So we'll do that once more. Hold your left mouse button on the edge of that line, hold your shift key down, and when you move it across you get that green line. Let go of the mouse, and that's just cut and paste it and inserted it between the columns. So here's number 6 tip. This is moving data from one sheet to another. Now you could copy and paste, but why do that when you can use your mouse? Highlight the data that you'd like to move, hover over the edge of the line, and so by holding your left mouse button down, that's how you move it to anywhere on the sheet. But this time, if we want to move that to sheet 6, we can't get that down to sheet 6. So what you do is hold your Alt key down and come down to sheet 6, and there it is on sheet 6. Let go of your mouse, and we've just moved it from sheet 1 over here to sheet 6 over here. If we wanted to copy all of this data but keep it there, so again we can highlight it with Control A. So if we want to move this, a copy of this, to sheet 6, hold your Control key down, and you can see that that's how we move across and makes a copy. But hold your Alt key down, go to sheet 6, and then place it where you want it. If you were placing that in between some data, so let's go and do this. Let's go back to sheet 1. Let's say we wanted this D column copied. So to copy it, you hold your Control key down and your left mouse button over the edge, and this time hold your Shift key down and your Alt key, go to sheet 6, and then find where you want that inserted, let go, and you've just inserted that from one sheet to another. Number 7 tip is about going into edit mode, and this is a really simple one. If I'm in this particular cell here and I want to edit that cell, you just press F2 on your keyboard and that puts you into edit mode. You can now edit inside the cell. But if you want to add a note, now those on Office 365 will know that comments that we've had for years are now called notes. But if you hold your Shift key down and press F2, that adds a note, and you can now put your note in here, and when you click away it disappears. When you hover over it, you've got a note. So if you want to edit that note, you do exactly the same. It's Shift and F2 and that edits your note. So the F2 key on its own to go into edit mode in a cell, and Shift and F2 to add a note or edit a note. Remember, notes are the new comments. If you want to add a comment, then hold your Control Shift and F2 and that adds a comment, and this is a threaded discussion. My number 8 tip is about getting back to your active cell. So if I'm in this set of data over here and I hold Control key down and A for all, you'll see that I've got that particular cell is the active cell and the rest is selected. But let's say you've just been going through your data and you want to keep that selection but get back to that particular cell. Hold your Control and press your backspace, and that keeps your selection, and now you can see your active cell. But if you just want to get back to your active cell without all that data highlighted, hold your shift down and backspace, and that takes you back to that active cell and deselects the rest. One of my shortcuts is probably one of my all-time favourites, and it just stays with me all the time and I use it all the time, and that's the save as. If you want to save a document or a spreadsheet workbook, you would normally come up to File, which is one click, and then down to Save As, which is 2 clicks, and then over to Browse, which is 3 clicks. So to save those 3 clicks, just press your F12 key on your keyboard and that takes you straight to your Save As dialog box. So that's one of my all-time favourites and I use it all the time. And my final one for this video is to toggle between show and hide the ribbon bar, but I've got a little extra for you. To toggle between show and hide, just hold your control key down and press F1 and that hides your ribbon bar, and then press F1 again with your control and that shows it. But if you want to show a full screen of spreadsheet, so that's hiding everything at the top here, hold your control and shift and F1 and you've got a full screen of spreadsheet. If you want to bring your ribbon bar back temporarily, hover over the 3 dots just here and click them, and here's your ribbon bar. And once you've made your selection, let's make this bold, and you click back down into your spreadsheet, it disappears again. To bring it back, Control Shift and F1 and you've got your ribbon bar and all your menu items back again. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed that, give me the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.